Welcome, graduates. Friends, family, faculty, Provost McLaughlin, Dean Shaw. You know, when I looked out my window this morning and heard and not just saw the downpour, I thought to myself, well, this is really as it should be. It's possibly the divine's way of saying to us, even when you're feeling the chill, look for the fire inside. And when you tap into your moral courage, that's what you find. Robert F. Kennedy described moral courage as the willingness to speak truth to power within your community for a greater good. It's easy, and this is something Kennedy pointed out as well. It's easy to declare to the world out there, all of you are responsible for all of my people's ills. You can go back to your people and say, look at what I'm doing to stand up for us against them. I know where I belong. Far riskier, isn't it, to say to your people, and we've got problems too. You've just left the sandbox of identity, and you've embarked on the path to integrity, to your wholeness, the many things at once that you are, not just the single thing. You've begun the road to personal authenticity. But for me, the most arresting moral courage moment actually came quietly this year, subtly, through a student at Wagner who took my class. And in her final paper, she discussed the journey that she's undergone to persuade her family, her community, that the culture of her parents underestimates what she is capable of as a woman. So what is it that this student wrote that almost took my breath away? Let me share it with you. She wrote, "We live but for a moment on earth. I want my moment to be exhausting. I want to give all my skills and abilities to this world so I may return to my Creator empty." In that moral courage moment, my student became my teacher. And in that spirit, as Dean Shaw informed us and reminded me, all of you graduates, that is, have been given the opportunity to respond to the question, what does moral courage mean to me? Now, a few of you will share your reflections with us, and we will start with Dede.
I believe that as a public servant, my true mission is to use my knowledge, skills, and influence to fight alongside those global citizens whom today's power structures have made voiceless, nameless, and faceless.
Anger can be a great starting point to social justice, but anger doesn't sustain. It burns you out. Be sure to aspire to something and not just be against something.
For me, moral courage is challenging the status quo. That means that I do not want to be categorized only as a Dutch woman, as an Iranian, as a Muslim, as an immigrant, as a refugee, because I'm them all.
Don't let categories conscript you into fitting pigeonholes, into fitting boxes. Find your integrity and not just your identity. Your identity will change over time. Your integrity is all about your growth.
To me, moral courage is having the bravery to take action for what you believe is right, regardless of adverse reaction or consequence.
One of the points I routinely make is that you've got to figure out when you're going to speak up. It's got to be a battle worth fighting. If you can articulate that in so beautifully a way as you just have, you are very much on the road to moral courage. Thank you for joining all of us on that.
I've spent the last 3 months in Burundi on a project challenging attitudes and norms that lead to violence against women. There are women and men fighting, wanting to see a change, even when they stand alone against centuries of status quo. It is their bravery that inspires me to demonstrate my own moral courage.
We live in a world of complexity. If you're going to articulate your point of view, and please do, because remember, diversity is not just about how we look, it's about also how we think, you've got to be prepared for pushback.
I do think of moral courage watching the peaceful uprisings happening in the Middle East. Everyone is counting on each other each successive day to get up and keep going. Standing up for one another takes shared courage, and being part of that is the greatest honor.
At the heart of moral courage is this notion that we are human. We are always going to fear something. Let's not raise the bar so high that we cease to be human in the process. No, no. We will have fears, but the point is some things are more important than fear. So again, moral courage is not about being against your community. It's about working with your community to rise higher together. And I think what you've all seen this morning is that as you tap into your moral courage, you wind up teaching and touching others. And so today, graduates, and going forward, whatever titles you have, whatever positions you take up, whatever ventures you begin, understand that in addition to everything else that you are, you're a teacher too. Teach us. Thank you.
Extraordinary.
Thank you.
Thank you.